You compare yourself constantly. You scroll through social media and see everyone else winning. You see their success, their happiness, their perfect lives. And you look at your own life and feel like you are falling behind. You tell yourself you should be further along by now. You should have achieved more. You should be better. And the more you compare, the worse you feel. You are not alone in this. There is a whole generation trapped in this cycle, constantly measuring themselves against others, constantly feeling inadequate. And the worst part is it is making you miserable. You just cannot seem to stop doing it. This is not about being jealous. This is not about being ungrateful for what you have. This is about psychology. This is about how your brain processes comparison. And the good news is that if you understand the mechanism, you can break free from it. But first, you need to understand what comparison is actually doing to your mind. You need to see why you are trapped in this pattern. And then you need to decide if you are ready to choose a different path. Let me paint a picture of what your day probably looks like right now. You wake up and immediately reach for your phone. You open Instagram. You see someone celebrating a promotion. Someone else just bought a house. Someone is on vacation in a place you have always wanted to visit. And something shifts inside you. That good mood you woke up with starts to fade. You feel smaller. You feel behind. You tell yourself you are happy for them, but underneath there is something else. Resentment, inadequacy, shame. You go to work, but you cannot focus. You keep thinking about what you saw. You compare your job to their promotion, your apartment to their house, your weekend plans to their vacation. Everything you have suddenly feels insufficient. At lunch, you scroll some more. Everyone seems to be doing better than you. Everyone seems happier, more successful, more fulfilled. And you wonder what is wrong with you. Why cannot you get your life together like everyone else seems to have? At night, you lie in bed scrolling through more posts. You know you should stop. You know it makes you feel terrible, but you cannot help yourself. You keep looking, keep comparing, keep feeling worse. And before you sleep, you make promises to yourself. Tomorrow you will work harder. Tomorrow you will be better. Tomorrow you will finally catch up. But tomorrow comes, and the cycle repeats. This pattern has been destroying your peace for months, maybe even years, and you are starting to forget what it feels like to be content with your own life. Here is what is happening in your brain. You are trapped in a comparison trap that your mind was never designed to handle. Humans evolved in small tribes. You compared yourself to maybe 50 to 150 people. That was manageable. Your brain could process that. But now you are comparing yourself to thousands of people, maybe millions. Your brain sees all these highlight reels and thinks they represent reality. It does not understand that you are seeing the best moments from thousands of different lives. It just sees success after success after success. And it concludes that everyone is doing better than you. When you see someone's achievement, your brain automatically compares it to your current situation, not to their struggles, not to their failures, not to the years of work they put in, just to the shiny result. And your brain sees a gap. You are here. They are there. And that gap triggers a threat response. Your brain interprets being behind as danger. In evolutionary terms, being at the bottom of the social hierarchy meant less access to resources, less safety, less survival. Your brain does not understand that modern life is different. It just sees the gap and panics. So it floods you with negative emotions. Anxiety, inadequacy, shame. Your brain thinks it is motivating you to climb higher. But it is not. It is just making you miserable. Here's the problem. While your brain is busy comparing, it is ignoring everything good in your own life. Every achievement you have earned, every challenge you have overcome, every unique path you have walked. Your brain dismisses all of that because it is focused on the gap between you and others. And the more you compare, the more you train your brain to focus on what you lack instead of what you have. Let me tell you what you are probably thinking right now. You are thinking that comparison is normal. You are thinking that it pushes you to be better. You are thinking that if you just worked harder, you could close the gap and then you would feel okay. But that is not how it works. Comparison does not motivate growth. Comparison motivates shame. And shame does not make you better. Shame makes you stuck. When you feel ashamed of where you are, you do not take action. You hide. You avoid. You pretend. You waste energy trying to look successful instead of actually building something real. Here is another thing you are probably dealing with. You are comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You know every struggle in your own life, every failure, every messy moment, every insecurity, but you only see other people's victories, their celebrations, their perfect photos. They're carefully curated posts. And you think their lives are actually like that. You think they have it all figured out. You think they do not struggle like you do. Let me be honest with you about something. Those people you are comparing yourself to are also comparing themselves to others. They also feel behind. They also feel inadequate. They also scroll through social media feeling like they are not enough. The person who just got promoted is comparing themselves to someone who makes more money. The person who bought a house is comparing themselves to someone with a bigger house. The person on vacation is comparing themselves to someone who travels more often. Everyone is running on the same hamster wheel. Everyone is chasing a finish line that keeps moving. Because comparison has no end point. There is always someone doing better. Always someone achieving more. Always someone further ahead. And if you base your worth on comparison, you will never feel good enough. Here is what you need to understand. Comparison steals joy. It takes the good things in your life and makes them feel worthless. You could achieve something amazing, something you worked hard for, something you are proud of, but then you see someone else achieving something bigger, and suddenly your achievement feels small. Your joy disappears. Comparison robbed you of a moment you deserve to celebrate, and it happens over and over again. Every good thing in your life gets diminished because someone somewhere has something better. So, how do you actually break this cycle? How do you stop comparing yourself to everyone around you? It starts with accepting a hard truth. You are running a race that nobody wins. You are measuring yourself against standards that do not matter. You are letting strangers on the internet determine your worth. And you need to stop. You need to delete the apps. Seriously, if social media makes you feel terrible every time you use it, stop using it. You do not need it. Your brain will fight you. It will tell you that you need to stay connected. It will tell you that you are missing out. But you are not missing out on anything real. You are missing out on feeling bad about yourself. That is all. Start focusing on your own progress instead of other people's positions. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Are you learning? Are you growing? Are you moving forward? That is what matters. Not whether you are ahead of some arbitrary standard set by people you do not even know. You also need to change what you consume. Stop following accounts that make you feel inadequate. Stop watching content that triggers comparison. Stop surrounding yourself with messages that tell you that you are not enough. Curate your environment intentionally. Follow people who inspire you without making you feel small. Follow people who share real struggles, not just victories. Follow people who remind you that growth is messy and nonlinear. Here is the secret that nobody tells you. Contentment feels boring at first. Your brain is addicted to the drama of comparison. It is used to the highs and lows. The excitement of seeing someone succeed. The crash of feeling behind. When you stop comparing, life feels flat for a while. Your brain does not know what to do without the constant stimulation. And you are going to have to sit with that discomfort. You are going to have to teach your brain that peace is better than drama. That stability is better than chaos. But here is what happens after you do that for a while. You start to see your own life clearly. You start to appreciate what you have. You start to celebrate your own wins without needing them to be bigger than someone else's. And you realize that you were enough all along. You also need to practice gratitude intentionally. Every day, write down 3 things that are good in your life right now. Not things you want. Not things other people have. Things you actually have. Your health. Your relationships. Your skills. Your opportunities. Your progress. Train your brain to focus on what is present instead of what is missing. Let me talk about something important. You need to redefine success for yourself. Right now, you are using other people's definitions, other people's timelines, other people's goals. But their path is not your path. Their priorities are not your priorities. Their version of success might not even make you happy. Ask yourself what you actually want, not what you think you should want, not what looks impressive to others. What brings you fulfillment? What aligns with your values? What makes your life feel meaningful? And then build toward that. Ignore everyone else. Here is another hard truth. You need to accept that some people will always be ahead of you in certain areas. And that is okay. Someone will always make more money. Someone will always have a bigger house. Someone will always travel more. Someone will always achieve more recognition. That is just reality. But none of that diminishes your worth. Your value is not determined by your ranking. Your value is inherent. You matter because you exist, not because of what you achieve or how you compare. Let me tell you what is going to happen when you stop comparing. You are going to feel lighter. You are going to have energy for your own goals instead of wasting it on envy. You are going to celebrate other people's wins genuinely because their success does not threaten yours. And you are going to build a life that actually fits you instead of chasing a life that looks good to others. But getting there requires consistency. You are going to catch yourself comparing. Your brain has been doing this for years. The pattern is deep. And when you notice it, you do not beat yourself up. You just redirect. You acknowledge the thought. And you choose a different focus. Over and over again. Until the new pattern becomes automatic. You also need to stop seeking validation from others. Stop posting for likes. Stop checking how many people noticed your achievement. Stop measuring your worth by external approval. The validation you need comes from you. From knowing you are showing up. From knowing you are trying. From knowing you are growing. Nobody else's opinion changes that. Here is what you need to remember. You are not behind. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Your journey is yours. Your timeline is yours. Your path is yours. And comparing it to anyone else's makes no sense. They are not living your life. They do not have your challenges. They do not have your starting point. So stop judging yourself by their progress. Now you understand the psychology behind comparison, and understanding is the first step toward freedom. Comparison is a thief, and it will steal every moment of joy if you let it. But awareness is power, and you have the power to choose a different way. So here is what I want you to do. Delete one app that makes you compare. Just one. Take a break from the highlight reels. Focus on your own life for 1 week. See how you feel. Notice what changes. And when you catch yourself comparing, ask this question. Does this comparison serve me? Does it motivate me, or does it just make me feel terrible? If it is the latter, let it go. Choose your own lane. Run your own race. Build your own life. Not someday. Not when you catch up. Now. You are exactly where you need to be. And the life you want is built by focusing on your own path, not by watching everyone else's. Stop comparing. Start living. Go be the person who chooses peace over competition starting right now.